Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
What's up, everybody? It is your host, Moise Bertrand, Road to Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey, guys. For those who've been listening and those who've been tapped in on the last couple episodes, I appreciate you guys for the feedback and just ratings and review. Every time I see the streams up, you guys, I look at it like, damn, people are really tapping in. People are really focusing and honing in on information. And, at the end of the day, I just want to say thank you, you guys, for even, staying, of course, staying along the journey with me and listening throughout all episodes and stuff like that. If you didn't, hey, I still appreciate you. You feel me? But today I just want to say renegotiate your worth, man. And, I was going through a situation prior to I even got onto this episode, and I was renegotiating with someone who, was a friend of mine, but also was a business partner. And, in business, it's shiesty. It could be very cutthroat, although you guys could be friends or long-term partners or however you want to do it, like relationship, however you want to call it. But, I just felt like at this point in time, everybody should renegotiate their worth. It's the same thing like when I tell you guys in the past, if you have a job that you're doing and you feel like you're doing exceptionally well in it, why not go to your manager and ask for a pay increase? A lot of people are afraid that they don't deserve these things and that they may create some tension, which may happen. I don't know how the corporate world is set up when you ask for a raise. But I do know in the regular business world, when you look to renege on contracts, when you look to renegotiate contracts, it gives you that side eye. People give you side eye. And I'm okay with getting side eye. I'm okay with just taking that, the uncomfortability in the beginning to make sure I'm comfortable in the end. And I feel like a lot of people, they just want to stay comfortable until that opportunity is given to them or until that idea and thought is presented to them. And I'm the type of person, I understand my worth and I understand my skill sets. And everywhere I go around, I look to renegotiate my skills and of course, my pay. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if say, for example, if I'm doing a marketing campaign for someone or I'm helping someone with real estate, and last year I probably was charging, let's just say, this is not real numbers, you guys, like $500 per month for social media management, right? That was 2022. But this year, let's just say I'm charging $1,000, right, per month. That person who's obviously getting that $1,000 worth of work, they may feel some type of way because last year I was charging $500, but I went up $500 extra. But they may feel like my work is not worth $1,000, even though it is. And a lot of people, they don't have a problem paying. It's just the amount of money that's needed to be paid out. You get me? And a lot of people, they don't want to renegotiate their contract because they don't want to create tension. They don't want to lose out on friends. They don't want to create animosity. It is nothing like that, you guys, in business or in work. You guys do it all the time. You guys do it all the time when you speak to your girlfriend about making agreements, things. Or you speak about, just trying to get things for cheaper. And, that's cool. Everybody renegotiate terms. Like if you have a relationship, you want to tell her, hey, listen, we're going to go on a lot of more dates out this year, Last year, you probably didn't go out on dates. That's a renegotiation. I'm going to renegotiate the terms of our relationship. Letting you know I'm going to do more. I'm going to put more effort in. The same thing like business. If you're renegotiating your contract, obviously it's going to ask for a little bit more demand from you. But you're already at that demand. You feel me? You're already providing the safe haven. You're already providing the foundation if already you've been in that business contract with that person. And if you have any fallouts or any problems with that contract, the person who's negotiating with you shouldn't have a problem opening up that discussion, opening up that floor. Because I look at everybody like, we all in this cup, right? Everybody's looking to get a drop, right? Everybody's looking to get something out of something. You get me? Some people are just looking to stay in the cup. Some people are looking to move on to a bigger cup. Some people want to move into like a bigger cup. You get me? But the only way you're going to be able to get into different cups if you just ask. You get me? You have to ask. You have to be open to just negotiation. You have to be open to conversations. You have to be open to also the word no. Because some people who may have more power over you in business, they're controlling majority of the contract. So their opportunity is seeing if you really did put in the work that you say you would when you were in the contract with this person. If you didn't, the person you're working with may just have some mixed emotions about it. Nah, bro, you ain't do nothing for real. You don't deserve to get a percentage up or a couple more percentages up because you ain't do nothing. The same thing like work. I don't know how you guys move and work, but when I heard people in the past get pay raises, that was after a year and 2 years, man, and they only went up like 3 to 5%. You get me? Which is cool, but what I always urgently tell people, man, just go get a businessman on the side if you work in corporate, because it ain't no point working corporate because you're never gonna get rich off corporate. I never heard somebody say I got rich working a job. I never heard nobody say that. Like, unless you're an exec of a Apple or like a really big company, then again, that's still a minuscule amount of people. That's a small percentage. You get me? And after years of doctors and stuff, yeah, they're financially stable, but they may be middle class, but they may not be rich. Rich is when you can literally just say, I have enough money to walk away. You get me? But a lot of doctors and lawyers, they can't really walk away from jobs because they have so much debt. And that debt ratio could eat them up if they don't start paying their student loan debt. So they're contracted to that job. They're obligated to continue working that job. But if a doctor was to open up a business on the side and have somebody else run it, but negotiate that contract with that person may be willing to work with that doctor because they understand that they're doing most of the work, and the doctor is probably just a supplier of funding or capital or even assistance and resources. But renegotiating contracts doesn't have to mean, oh, I want more money, I want more percentage. It could just be different terms. It could just be like, okay, for a year, you told me to drop 4 albums in a year. I want to drop 2 albums per year. This is every 6 months. That takes a lot more pressure off the artist, and it gives the person more bang for their buck because longevity creates prosperity. You get me? The longer it takes to release an album and you have a very big hype around you, it's going to explode. But 4 albums per year, it may just dilute the whole brand. So a lot of people, they may just be negotiating in terms of thinking ahead. So when you negotiate, you have to think ahead, because a lot of people think for now, bro. A lot of people are like, no, I want 10,000 for 10%. And the person who's negotiating with you was probably had a budget of 20%. You just left 10% on the table because you were so quick to run your mouth, but you didn't understand like the whole dynamics of the contract. You had to ask the person, hey, what more is being offered to me for this amount of money? How much could I get out of this with this amount of money? How much could I get out of this because I've been working with you for this amount of years? How much could I get out of this because I've been doing this XYZ for these amount of months and these amount of years with you? I feel like it's only right if I'm able to like get more compensation for my work. The conversation could be very much easygoing if you bring that tone. But I feel like a lot of people kind of fall victim to like wanting to be the boss. A lot of people fall victim to wanting to be the leader. And that's okay, because you should always want to be a boss. You should always want to be a leader. But just know with those type of responsibilities come great power, come great, like I said, accountability. And a lot of people dislike the title, to be honest. Like, I don't really care about being called a boss. I don't really care about calling a leader. I just fall into these categories all the time because my work ethic just puts me at Front Street, And I'm okay with just always giving away more than I should, because I want people to feel like they're a part of something, And I feel like once you create that environment where it's 100% in the pie, I'm giving away 45%, that leaves me with 55. I'm cool, But I don't have to hurt and be like, oh, I keep 80%, you keep 20. That sounds like a death row deal. It depends on the terms. It depends on what's being said. But I'm a type of person, like, I like to open up the floor to any type of negotiation, any type of numbers, because everybody owns a percent of something, and I'd rather everybody own a percent of something. Everybody has an opportunity to get a percentage of something. Why would I want to keep 100% of nothing? You get me? If I have 50% of something that's making $10,000, that's $5,000 a month. If I had 100% of something that's making $0, I'm still like the guy who don't have any business because it's not doing anything. You get me? So find people who are willing to put the work in. Find people who are willing to be with you longevity-wise. And find people who are open to transparency and communication, because everybody just want to be compensated fairly. I don't want nobody working for my trucking business to feel like they're not getting paid. I don't want no tenants in my house to feel like they're not being taken care of. I don't want none of my business partners to feel like they can't speak to me. Sometimes I feel off about certain people when I do contracts. And I don't sign the contract, and I don't look to help and get the contract up and running on the spot, because my intuition is always speaking to me, And I feel like a lot of people, they just have to understand, like, once you feel like your place in someone's life should be a lot higher, you bring that up. Women do it all the time to guys. I don't feel like you're taking me out enough. I don't feel like you're showing me enough attention, blah, blah, whatever the freaking problem is. But the whole overall gist of it is people are always looking to be heard. People are always looking to be seen. People are always looking to be felt. And that's what a contract is. I want to be felt. I want to be heard. I want to be understood. If you don't feel like the terms that I'm saying to you can't be, agreed on, then we may have some type of, confusion and problem a little bit. Not necessarily a big problem, but this is, a situation we have to take care of. Because in the past, I've seen so many people hurt and sign, right? And then they get fucked at the end because they don't understand what they just signed. You just signed the 360 deal with no money up front, and then you only get paid if the company gets paid after 3 years. That's literally the type of contracts people will sign, and they don't understand. Like, once you sign a contract, you technically are agreeing to anything and everything on there, right? Whether you read it or not. So me as a person who is very detailed, I like to look over everything. I like to look over the person I'm doing business with. I like to look over the terms. I like to look over the duration. And I like to look at the scope of work of pretty much what is the responsibilities and roles that I'm being asked of, in this contract. And am I being fairly compensated for this type of work? So when I constantly tell people, listen, man, it's easier said than done. You just got to be able to have that conversation with whoever you're doing business with. If you're doing business with your spouse or your partner or anybody like in business, ask that question. Hey, can we renegotiate the contract? The contract could have been valid for 3 months. Like I said, it doesn't have a timeline on it. But most people will be like, nah, man, you got to wait. You got to wait. You feel me? But I do feel like a great partner would just be like, okay, we'll just opening that discussion. They may not sign or change the terms, but you telling the person, hey, listen, like in 6 to a year, like I want to be able to change this percentage from like 10 to 15, like 15 to 30. You feel me? Just because you want to plant that seed in somebody's ear, because if you tell the person, hey, listen, like next year I'm looking to get my contract a little bit up if that's possible, and you just want to see the person's reaction, and if the person don't give you the reaction, that's all you need to know. Because someone who you're helping should want you to move up. Should want you to earn a little bit more based off your work history, based on your work ethic. And I feel like a lot of people fall victim to like being shy, to feel like they're not really worth that much. Listen, I feel like I'm worth $1 billion, bro. You feel me? I mean, I have $1 billion yet, but I feel like I already have everything in my life. So I'm only showing up as that person that my future self will want me to show up as. So in 5 years, if I didn't negotiate my contracts this year or the year before, I can't complain about how 5 years may be hard for me. But if I sit down and I do my due diligence and I put all my time and effort into this contract and renegotiation, 5 years could be totally different from what somebody else probably could have signed on their contract. And I'm not saying we're in the same industry. I'm not saying I'm not a rapper or anything. I'm not saying anything like that. But I'm just saying the contract you're signing today, what is it that's going to make you successful from it in the next 3 to 5 years? Is this contract worth your time? Is this business worth your time? Is the profit worth your time? Because we're only getting older, you guys, and I feel like a lot of people, they don't want to talk about money when they get older because that's such a touchy subject. But I feel like the people who talk about money usually are the people who are going to have it. And that's an old Chinese saying, like the people who are afraid, don't verbatim quote me on this, but it said the people who are afraid to talk about money usually don't have it. The people who usually talk about money, sooner or later the money will find them, or they have the money. People who like talking about money, like they get into it. I love talking about money. Boom, boom, boom. I don't like talking about nothing else. I don't like talking about women all the time, gossiping, food, all this bullshit. I don't like talking about that. I like talking about the money, the contract. Show me the contract. Show me the numbers. Show me the deal. I love things like that because it creates a safe haven for me, knowing that if I don't participate, I'm still taken care of in the back end. If I do participate, I'm still taken care of in the front end. You feel me? So we could always chill, talk about other things, but the foundation of business is contracts. The foundation of business is knowing that we all have an obligation to make things right, and we all have the opportunity to change our lifestyle depending on who we're working with and how we negotiate things. And I feel like a lot of people should stop doing handshake deals because in the past, I did handshake deals and people did some green shit to me, you feel me? And I kind of had like a bad taste in my mouth. And, not only that, but just like people agreeing, verbal agreements, like, no, bro, you told me this and this and that. And it's not all that is crazy, you feel me? I love all my brothers. I love everybody I work with. I respect everybody. I literally look up to everybody I work with. But then again, I'll tell everybody I work with, business is business. If I lock this contract in with you, it's cool what other relationship we have outside of this business. But just know the foundation of this contract is right here. The foundation of this business is right here in this contract. You feel me? You can't ask me to do more. You can't ask me to do less. Now, if I'm able to do more, I will. If I'm able to do less, I will. But the terms of this contract is what's being said. The rules of what this partnership is about. The roles, the responsibilities. You feel me? We don't need to be friends after the partnership. We don't need to be friends after this contract, because a lot of contracts in the past have created a lot of tension between family members, between friends, and between lovers. Like, as you guys can see, it happens all the time. People feel like they were ripped out or finessed out of a contract. Record labels may be taking advantage of certain people who may not understand the whole money and labeling situation. And that could just be a 360 deal that so many people got themselves into. Now, 2, 3 years, 4 or 5 years later, they're still in a fucked up situation because they didn't take the time to renegotiate or negotiate their contract. You feel me? When I'm doing contracts, I'm always making sure I'm protecting myself in the beginning. What is it that my future self will tell me to do now? You feel me? What type of words and what type of words could I throw in there to make sure I'm straight? When you hear words like perpetuity, that's forever. You get me? I have some contracts that have perpetuity in it, but because I know the essence of the contract, I know the benefit of the contract, I'm okay with doing that. I'm okay with having terms with people, like a certain amount of years with people. I'm okay with having a certain amount of responsibilities with people, certain amount of things I can say to people. All these things I list in the contract, the operating times, the emails, I don't work on weekends. These things are things that you got to make sure you include every and little thing in contract, because you signing and the other person signing, like, oh, don't forget to put that. The person gonna look at you like, too late. You sign first, or if I sign first and you still sign, you're supposed to, renegotiate that or bring it back to my attention. But like I said, you guys got to be able to negotiate. If you're a nursing if you're a travel nurse, negotiate your contract, because a lot of people out there, they just ask for a little bit more. You can negotiate anything. Everything is up for negotiation when the price is right. You feel me? I could buy somebody car cash if I just offer them the amount of money they want or want to hear. You feel me? I could buy somebody house cash if they see that type of money, if they hear what type of money I'm offering them, and I'm contracting and negotiating some terms on why I should give them this money, on why they should take this certain amount of money and let me pay them back extra in the back end. Like, all these things are things that people in business, we do. I didn't get my MBA. I don't have an MBA. I have only bachelor's in health science. And I still dominated the health science field. I had a 3.1 and shit like that. Like, I was still balling. Like, it was cool. Health, like, school and education is so easy to me. You feel me? Like, I could go into any industry and I could dominate it. You feel me? But what's going to cost me more money? Education. What's going to cost me less money? Business. And what's going to make me more money? Business. You feel me? Like, I don't know how everybody else financials are set up, but I noticed that when I worked a job, I had less money. When I was working for myself and grinding and starting businesses, even though I didn't have as much money as people who, quote unquote, had more money than me, we were still living the same life. And I was still able to pay my bills, car note, phone bill, insurance, food, travel the world, like clothes, like furnish my apartment, like do the things I want to do while still living the life I want to live. But then you have people who may have the same type of lifestyle for me, but their contract, their negotiation skills isn't up to par, or they probably wasn't able to put that in their contract. Or if they had a job, they may not even have included what they wanted on their sign-in bonus. No, you know what? I want my sign-in bonus. I want it split up between all my checks. I don't want it up front. I don't want to claim I'm gonna withhold my taxes this year. You start negotiating things like that. You withhold your taxes, you get a big ass tax lump. I think that's how it works. You withhold your taxes, you take a big ass tax lump, or your check is getting full paid out. You just take care of your taxes at the end. But if you have a plan, you're able to do something with that. The plan is being able to set yourself up from one plan to the other. You have to be able to catapult yourself from one plan to the other, from one business to the other. Your old investments have to pay for your new investments. Your new investments have to pay for your future investments. You get me? But the only way you're going to be able to take off if your old investments is working. You feel me? Like, if I never bought real estate, 2 years ago, I would never have been thinking about business in a larger form, in a larger way, because real estate, it shows you nothing but contracts with deeds, contract with the realtor, contract when you buying a house, contract when you got with your contractors. It's contract. So when you have all these contracts coming along and going back and forth, your only obligation is not only to read over them, but also renegotiate. If someone's offering you a proposal to work you in business, hey, I have a contract, bro. Like, you take care of the merch, I take care of the marketing. That's a cool contract, but let's dive into it deeper. How much marketing per month? How many people are you actually going to take care of with this merch? How many sales are we aiming to have? What money is going to be used? Because if I'm doing marketing, am I supposed to bring out my own money, or are you going to pay? Like, it's so many things that people don't really think about when it comes to negotiation, that when I speak to people, I make sure I lay down the foundation of the details. Listen, man, I'm finna work with you. This is not me working for you, because I always make sure everybody knows that. Unless you work in corporate, like I said, is a different talk game. But for business, I'm not working for you, man. I work with you. If either you hired me as a independent contractor, or you hired me as a marketing group, or you hired me as a developer or a mentor, I don't work for you. You feel me? I work with you. I work alongside you. This is a partnership. Because if I'm working for you, that just technically means you're ordering me around. And I didn't work my whole life to be ordered around. I worked my whole life to be free. You feel me? If I wanted to be ordered around, I would have got a job. You feel me? But the point of this discussion is, whenever you're negotiating a contract, you should always think about the best interests of yourself. Yes, a lot of people say what's best for the business, but what is going to take care of Mo at the end of the day? I don't want to feel stressful 6 months later because I signed a bad deal. I don't want to not make no money in 6, 8 a year because I signed a deal and I understand the terms say risky. It wasn't never guaranteed. Like all these things that you have to take account of, the words, the context, how it's set up, what agreements is being used, everything that's being said. I need you guys to review. If you have a lawyer, that's great as well. But most of the time, lawyers will cost you a little chunk of change if they have to review it. $250, probably $300. But that's just protecting your livelihood. So all depends on how you want to word and go about it. When I read contracts, the most I get in contract pages is probably like 3 or 4 pages. I tell the person, give me a few days, I'm gonna look it over, and I read everything. I print it out and I highlight everything. I run it through softwares that pinpoint things out. I run it through software that's allowing me to reorchestrate what's being said. If I don't understand something verbatim, I'm just gonna copy that text, upload it to something. It's gonna give me a paraphrase of it, and then from that point, I know what the paraphrase is saying. Oh, this person got. In other words, you saying I can't bring nobody on to the deal because this is me and you deal. Okay, cool. Well, I want to bring somebody in on the deal, so how do I renegotiate that? Just little simple things like that, like using software to paraphrase contract terminology and sentences, paragraphs. Having someone else who's in business to look over the contract, and also reading over the industry standards of the numbers that's being involved in this contract. So contracts, you guys, renegotiating your worth, renegotiating, understand what you bring to the table. You might be undervaluing yourself, telling yourself you want to have a certain amount of money in this contract, certain amount of terms, and the person who brought you seen your value before you did. So how do I keep people relying on me? I provide exceptional work ethic. I provide everybody with transparency, and I provide everybody with tranquility. Everybody who works with me understand, I'm working with him, I know it's already going to be taken care of. I'm working with him, I already got a trip, so I'm okay with giving him a little bit of extra because he deserves this. And I've been doing entrepreneurship for 4 to 5 years already, you guys. I went through the struggle. Sometimes I go through the struggle every once in a while because I got to bounce back. But that's the whole point of business. You up, you down, you up, you down. But like I talked in these other podcasts, you could be down for 3 months, and the next 6, 8, 9 months, you just made 30, 40, 60, 80, 100 grand. You was down 3 months in the early year. People thought you wasn't going to make it. And then, boom, you made someone's salary in 6 months. You feel me? However you made it, however you did it, you did it. You feel me? So that's the only point of life. Like, make sure you're taken care of after you sign your contract. Make sure you take care of before you sign your contract. Knowing who you working with, knowing who you doing business with. Like, if you like working with people who look like you, that's cool. If you like working with people who don't look like you, that's cool. You always want to work with everybody and also have a mutual understanding. Like, this is what's going on because I'm putting this amount of work in. and this is the amount of effort that's being put in as well, and this is the result of both of those things, my work and my result. You feel me? My work and my passion. You feel me? So you put those two together, man, you will have a great contract because people see your worth already, and people don't have to try to dilute your version of what you feel like you're actually worth. If you're worth 150 mil, you tell those people you want 200 M's. You feel me? The most they're bringing it down to is probably 185, but you made it past 150. I heard something in the past when I was negotiating. Someone was told me, if you're buying something, aim low. The only way is to go up. But if someone's offering you something, aim high, and the only way is to go down. So remember that, you guys. Like, if someone's offering you something, like I said, aim high. The only way is to go down. But if you're offering something, aim low, and the only way is to go high. Once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Road to Billions podcast. If you haven't already, listen to Real Estate Bag Talk with me and Chris Daniels. We was going in on that. We was dropping so many gems, man, from other episodes as well. Continue to listen and continue to show love. I'm going to go ahead and get that video I was supposed to drop for buying your first real estate investment property up and running by this week, man. I'm sorry, you guys, for not having that up and running. I was under the weather a little bit. Then I went to Colombia. Then I, moved it around a little bit. So I'm always looking to keep you guys entertained, not only with knowledge, but with visuals as well. So I respect everybody who's been giving me the feedback and who've been tuning in. I appreciate everybody. And once again, it's been an amazing journey. You guys continue to follow your dreams. Thank you, guys.